This video is a flick through of a sketchbook that I've been working on for a couple of years now. If you're one of those people who have a load of sketchbooks but they're all unfinished, then this one's for you. I'm going to be sharing 5 ways to keep the momentum going in your sketchbook so you can stop stalling a few pages in and you can actually keep going with your ideas and creations. At the end of the video, I'm going to give you a full flick through of the sketchbook, every page in loads of detail, so if you like seeing all the little details of the pages, then stick around for that. If we haven't met before, I'm Rebecca. I'm a mixed media artist and teacher, and I love working with collage, colour and photos. I'm all about sharing simple, accessible techniques that anyone can try, even if you're working from the kitchen table like me and you're short on time. I teach online art classes and I share a monthly Creative Fix newsletter which gives you early access to videos like this, and it's got loads of other inspiration in there too. If you want the link to that, it's down in the description below. Okay, so here's the book itself. It's a square book. It's 21 centimetres by 21 centimetres and it's by Kunst and Papier, but I got this from Jackson's Art Supplies in the UK. I really like this book. There's a few advantages and disadvantages to it. The main thing that I like about it is that it opens out and lays flat, so it's really easy to work in. It's got these heavy board front and back colours, and then it's got the fabric spine, so it opens out flat, and even though it's turning quite chunky, there's no chance of the papers falling out. It's holding together quite well. The downside to it is that the paper in the book is only 100 GSM. Now for me that doesn't matter too much because I add in so much collage paper and layers anyway that it kind of thickens the paper, but on some pages where I've worked straight in with wet media, the paper's not that great for that. I have lots of different sketchbooks on the go at one time, and this one, the square one that I'm showing you today, is kind of a bit of everything really. It's one for exploring techniques, it's one for just grabbing and working outside with. It's served a lot of different purposes. The other books that I keep are a little bit different to that. This is the same brand, same type of paper, same sketchbook, but it's in this A4 format. And this one is more working on a particular theme, and it's a bit more of a kind of workbook, if you like. So it's where I swatch out colours, where I maybe take notes and add lots of ideas into it. It's a bit more of a workbook, less sort of finished pages. It's more sort of experimentation in that one. And then I do create these other sketchbooks as well, which are more sort of art books in themselves, kind of like art journals. These are handmade books, sometimes concertina, different types of books, where I'll be working on a specific theme. If you want to keep momentum going in your sketchbook, one of the main things I think you need to work on is that mindset that every page in the sketchbook serves a different purpose, and not all pages in this sketchbook are going to be finished, polished works of art. They all serve a different purpose, and if you accept that, then it releases the pressure and it makes it easier to keep going in a rhythm. So for me in this sketchbook, some of these pages served a purpose just let's see, back here in a cafe with my boys doing some scribbles and doodles. This was in the summer holidays last year. It was raining, we were sheltering in a cafe. I tried to do some drawing outside, but the paper was too thin, the oil pastel hadn't worked. It's not a perfect page by any means, but it was a way of just sort of itching that creative itch that I had in the summer holidays when I didn't have much time for making art, and it just got some colour down onto the page. Sometimes I might use the sketchbook just for recording what I can see. So this again was outside in the summer, watching the boys play and just recording some of the wildflowers that I could see growing in a garden that we were at. So sometimes it's just about recording a particular moment or memory. Sometimes I use my sketchbook a bit more specifically for exploring new materials and techniques. So like on, where is it, this page, I was keen to explore ink, trying out a different type of ink that I'd not used before. So I used this sketchbook page just to explore that, trying to work with the ink in a more fluid way to get some more movement rather than using collage. In this page, I wanted to explore some new pens that I'd got. So I've worked directly onto the pages, trying to bring that sort of collage impression as if I'm using collage, using these sort of blocks of pattern and colour, but actually not using the collage papers and using the brush pens instead. So if you give yourself that grace, that flexibility that not every page has to serve the same purpose, it can really help keep that momentum going and just keep you going without any pressure as well. A great way to keep the momentum going is by letting one page flow into the next page. So for example, here you can see I did a quick collage using some collage scrap papers and a photograph collage paper that I've used. And then on this page, I've actually done a drawing of this collage. And that sort of backwards and forwards can just really help the momentum keep going. Just like here, where again, I've started off with the collage on this side and then I've used crayons to copy it from here. I'm not copying it exactly, but I'm using this as inspiration to lead on to another page. Another way that I keep that momentum going is by using the same material, so letting each page inform each other by working on them both at the same time and using the same materials on that page. So using the pinks and the greens and the blues, that same colour palette, the same collage papers, but two separate pages. As I'm looking back on this now and flipping through, I can see that certain patterns and shapes, motifs are emerging. And as I'm working in the sketchbook, I often go back to it and have a flick through and try and identify those motifs and recurring things that are happening in the book, and then that way that gives me something to work on. So for example, you can see these leaf shapes started out here from collage, and then I've built on it on the next page, bringing them in here. For me, it's kind of leaf shapes and flower shapes, using this flower shape again and again in lots of different pages, and it just creates that rhythm as I'm just exploring that same motif but in different ways. So by flicking through the book as I go along, I can identify the things that I'm interested in, that I'm drawn to, and keep those going, develop them a bit further as the book develops. If I'm ever completely stuck for ideas or inspiration, then I've got a few sort of page starters that I use time and time again. So this, for example, is there's two collages, and I created them just using different tones of one colour. So they were using different tones of blue, created the collages, and then I've added the colour accents afterwards. So having the idea of just different tones of one colour, add colour accents, it gives you something to work with. It gives you a limitation, which in fact frees you up and stops you searching for all the different possibilities and ideas that you could do in a sketchbook. If you limit yourself and narrow it down to just one idea for a starter, then that can be really powerful in setting you off and getting going. So I did these two first, and then that gave me a springboard onto creating these two as well in the same way. Here I've gone for another starter, which I often do, which is this 3-2-1. Here I chose 3 shapes, 2 colours and 1 intention. So 3 shapes, and then the 2 colours, the yellow and the blue, and 1 intention. And my intention on these was to try and create some big shapes. So imagine that these are small compositions and I'm just interested in creating these big shapes. And then that went on to using a different colour palette. And again, the 3 shapes, 2 colours and 1 intention. These are just really simple, quick starters, but they kind of gave me ideas. So using this circle, the negative space of the circle, then fed on to using a whole page based just on circles. So you can see how the pages sort of feed into each other, and having these starters to fall back on when you're maybe not in the mood, you haven't got any inspiration. If you've got that starter to work with, then it can just be a great starting point. Finally, one thing that I do, which I think helps me reflect on the work that I'm producing, is to just make little notes in the sketchbook. So just 3 things. Here I've put, enjoyed making this, but it feels overworked. Lots of layers, too many, I can't even read my own writing, too many similar size shapes, like the yellow turquoise combination. So just little notes, little prompts, just to remind me of what it is that I like about it, what I don't like, and then that, again, leads on to the next page. This one, it doesn't feel like me, but I like the simplicity. So already I'm picking up that I want something a bit more simple. So just in analysing it a little bit, not overly analysing it, but just reflecting on what is it that you like, what is it that you don't like, what's something you could do differently next time. If you have those 3 things to reflect on for each page, and just make some notes on the page, or maybe at the back of the book, or even in another notebook, that can be really powerful in keeping the momentum going for yourself. So those are the 5 ways that I keep sketching, making, creating, even when I hit a slump, even when I've got no motivation at all. So by letting go of perfection, building page-to-page flow, spotting themes, having fallback starter prompts, and staying reflective, I find that those ways really help me keep my momentum going. Here's a full flip through so you can enjoy every page. That's it from me then. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do hit the subscribe bell if you'd like to receive more videos like this, or you can sign up for my Creative Fix newsletter as well, which goes out once a month and it's filled with lots of inspiration. Let me know in the comments below if you've got any different ways of keeping momentum going in your sketchbook. I'd love to hear all about it. See you again soon.